She did not destroy your peace. She only exposed how much of your peace was secretly depending on her. And if you do not understand what just happened inside you, one silent message can turn you into a man you no longer respect. Before we go deeper, subscribe to support this channel. Your support gives me the motivation to keep creating stronger videos for men who are learning how to control their mind, rebuild their self-respect, and stop being ruled by overthinking. Now let us talk honestly about what happens when she ignores you. You sent the message, then nothing came back. No reply, no explanation, no small sign that everything was still normal. Just silence. At first, you tried to act calm. You told yourself she was probably busy. You tried to put the phone down. You tried to focus on something else. But a few minutes later, you picked it up again. You opened the chat. You read your message one more time. Then your mind began its investigation. Was it too much? Was it too cold? Was it too emotional? Did I sound weak? Did I say something that pushed her away? Then the thoughts became darker. Maybe she is losing interest. Maybe she is testing me. Maybe someone else has her attention. Maybe I mattered yesterday, but not today. And without realizing it, you were no longer dealing with a message. You were dealing with a story. That story is where most men lose themselves, because the silence itself is small. The meaning you give to the silence is enormous. A blank screen does not insult you. A delayed reply does not define you. An unanswered message does not automatically prove rejection. But when your mind is afraid, it does not wait for facts. It fills empty space with fear. It takes uncertainty and dresses it as truth. It takes one missing response and turns it into a full emotional trial. You become the judge. You become the accused. You become the witness. And somehow, you always sentence yourself. This is why the real problem is not that she did not answer. The real problem is that your mind started treating her silence as evidence against your worth. That is the moment you must become awake. Not angry, not bitter, awake. Because if you do not wake up in that moment, your emotions will begin making decisions for you. And emotions under pressure rarely protect your dignity. They seek relief. They seek control. They seek anything that can stop the discomfort quickly. That is why you want to send another message. Not because the conversation truly needs it. Not because there is something meaningful left to say. But because your nervous system wants to escape uncertainty. This is the uncomfortable truth most men avoid. Sometimes the second message is not communication. Sometimes it is a painkiller. You are not trying to reach her. You are trying to calm yourself. You are not trying to understand her. You are trying to remove the pressure inside your chest. You are not looking for connection. You are looking for reassurance. And that is where a man must be very careful, because the moment you use another person as medicine for your anxiety, you begin to lose your center. This is where Stoicism becomes useful, not as a quote, not as an aesthetic, not as a way to look emotionless, but as a discipline for the exact moment when your lower self wants to take control. A Stoic man does not ask, "How do I force her to reply?" He asks, "What is happening inside me that makes her silence feel unbearable?" That question changes everything. Because now the focus returns to the only place where your power actually exists, your own mind, your own interpretation, your own next action. Before you decide what to do about her silence, you must first separate reality from imagination. The first Stoic rule is this: respect the fact before you obey the fear. The fact is simple. She has not replied. That is all you truly know. You do not know whether she is busy. You do not know whether she is annoyed. You do not know whether she is uncertain. You do not know whether she is losing interest. You do not know whether something happened in her life. You do not know whether she is choosing distance. You only know that a reply has not arrived. That is the fact. Everything beyond that is a mental construction. And your mind is not always a reliable narrator when it is afraid. Fear is creative. Fear writes scenes that never happened. Fear invents conversations you never heard. Fear imagines betrayal without evidence. Fear turns silence into punishment. That is why you must slow the mind down. You must bring it back to the ground. You must tell yourself, I will not suffer from a story before reality confirms it. This is not denial. This is discipline. Denial says, everything is fine, even when there may be signs that something is wrong. Discipline says, I will not invent a conclusion just to satisfy my anxiety. There is a difference. A weak man runs ahead of reality. A disciplined man waits for reality to reveal itself. That waiting is not passive. It is strength. It is the ability to stand in the unknown without humiliating yourself. It is the ability to feel uncomfortable without immediately reaching for control. It is the ability to let the moment breathe before you react. And in relationships, that ability is rare. Most men react too early. They text too much. They explain too soon. They confess too heavily. They question too anxiously. Then they wonder why the situation feels even worse. It feels worse because they are no longer responding from self-respect. They are responding from fear. That brings us to the second Stoic rule. Never let fear write your message. A message has energy behind it. Even when the words look normal, the emotional state beneath them can be felt. You can write, hope you are okay. But if the truth underneath is panic, the message carries panic. You can write, just checking in. But if the truth underneath is insecurity, the message carries insecurity. You can write, did I do something wrong? But if the truth underneath is desperation, the message carries desperation. This is why the question is not only, what should I text? The deeper question is, which part of me is texting? Is it the calm part? Or the wounded part? Is it the grounded man? Or the part of you that is terrified of being abandoned? Is it the man with purpose? Or the man who has made one woman's attention the judge of his value? This question may sting, but it is necessary, because many men do not ruin their dignity through one dramatic mistake. They ruin it through small emotional leaks, one unnecessary message, one passive-aggressive question, one long paragraph, one attempt to make her feel guilty, one fake casual text sent only to reopen the door. These moments look small from the outside, but inside a man, they slowly teach him that his emotions are allowed to command him. And once that pattern becomes normal, silence becomes dangerous. Distance becomes unbearable. Uncertainty becomes torture. A man like that can be controlled without anyone even trying. All someone has to do is remove attention. Then he collapses. That is why this is bigger than one woman. This is about whether your inner world belongs to you. To understand this, imagine a Roman guard standing at the gate of a city at night. The air is cold. The torches are low. Beyond the wall, he hears movement in the darkness. He does not know whether it is an enemy. He does not know whether it is an animal. He does not know whether it is only the wind. But he does know one thing. His duty is to hold the gate. He does not abandon his post because his imagination becomes loud. He does not throw away his shield to chase shadows outside the wall. He does not scream into the dark demanding certainty. He stands, he observes, he keeps his discipline until reality becomes clear. That is what you must do when she goes silent. Your attention is the gate. Your self-respect is the wall. Your discipline is the guard. The danger is not only outside you. The danger is the moment you open the gate from within. This is why chasing can feel so damaging. It is not simply that you sent another message. It is that you betrayed your own command. Deep down, you know when a message comes from strength. And deep down, you also know when it comes from fear. That inner knowing matters. Because even if she never sees your weakness, you see it, you feel it, you remember it. And every time you act below your own standard, your self-respect quietly loses another layer. This is why the third Stoic rule is not about her at all. It is about your standard. The rule is this: do not abandon your life to monitor someone else's distance. When a man has no strong mission, his mind becomes available for obsession. If his day has no structure, he will build a temple around a notification. If his identity has no foundation, he will look for proof of value in someone else's mood. If his future has no clear direction, one woman's silence can feel like the collapse of the world. That is not because she is all-powerful. It is because his life has become too empty in the places where purpose should exist. This is a hard truth, but I believe it is a useful one. Overthinking often grows in the space where purpose is missing. Not always, but often. When you are deeply engaged with your body, your work, your craft, your health, your money, your learning, and your future, you still feel emotional pain. But that the pain has less room to become your entire identity. You may miss her, but you still have a life to return to. You may feel uncertain, but you still have responsibilities waiting. You may feel rejected, but you still have a body to train, a mind to sharpen, and a future to build. Purpose does not erase emotion. It gives emotion a container. Without that container, one feeling floods the whole system. This is why the solution is not to pretend you do not care. That is childish. The solution is to care without surrendering your center. You can want her reply. You can feel disappointed. You can admit that silence hurts. But you must not let that hurt become a commander. Pain is a signal. It is not a king. Now let us turn this into action. Here is the 24-hour Stoic silence protocol. This is not a trick to make her miss you. This is not a tactic to create fear. This is not a dating game. This is training. The purpose is to restore your ability to stand inside uncertainty without losing yourself. Step 1. Pause for 24 hours before sending anything else. This pause is not punishment. It is a test of command. You are asking yourself, can I feel the urge without obeying it? That question matters more than her reply. Because a man who cannot pause cannot lead himself. When the urge comes, do not argue with it. Say, this is anxiety. Say, this is not wisdom. Say, this is the part of me that wants relief. Once you name the urge, it loses some of its mystery. It becomes something you can observe, and what you can observe, you do not have to obey. Step 2. Create distance from the trigger. Do not keep the chat open. Do not check her online status. Do not study her social media like a detective. Do not look for hidden messages in what she posts. You are not gathering truth. You are feeding the loop. Every check gives your brain a small dose of stimulation. Every check keeps her at the center of your attention. Every check tells your mind, this is important enough to interrupt my life again. So remove the easy access. Put the phone across the room. Turn notifications off for a while. Walk without it. Train without it. Work without it. The point is not to run from the phone. The point is to stop letting the phone train you. Step 3. Write the difference between fact and fear. Take a notebook. Draw 2 columns. On the left side, write facts. On the right side, write fears. Under facts, write this: she has not replied. I do not know why. I feel anxious. I still control my next action. Under fears, write this: she lost interest. She is with someone else. I ruined everything. I am not enough. Now look at the page. This is what your mind was mixing together: facts and fears, reality and imagination, evidence and insecurity. The Stoic man does not allow these to become one thing. He separates them. That separation creates space. And in that space, dignity can return. Step 4. Return to the body before solving the story. When your mind is spiraling, thinking more is not always the answer. Sometimes your body must lead you back to stability. Do 30 minutes of physical training. Walk outside. Take a cold shower. Clean your room. Prepare a meal. Do something concrete, something visible, something your body can complete. This matters because overthinking is often abstract. It floats. It loops. It has no finish line. Action breaks the loop, not because action solves everything immediately, but because action reminds you that you are still capable of movement. You are not trapped inside the chat. You are not trapped inside the memory. You are not trapped inside her timing. You are still here. You still have agency. Step 5. After 24 hours, decide from clarity, not hunger. If there is a real reason to follow up, send one simple message. Not a speech. Not an accusation. Not a test. Not a hidden demand. Something clean. Something calm. Something that does not drag your dignity behind it. For example, no worries. Hope everything is okay. Then release it. Do not stand over the message like a man waiting for a verdict. Do not restart the cycle. Do not turn one calm message into 5 anxious ones. Let your action be clean enough that you can respect yourself afterward. And if silence continues, accept the information. Not with hatred, not with drama, not with revenge, with clarity, because a pattern of silence is also communication. You do not need to force someone to say what their behavior is already showing. This is one of the hardest lessons for men who overthink relationships. Sometimes the answer is not hidden. Sometimes it is simply uncomfortable. You keep searching for a secret explanation because the obvious one hurts. You keep asking what it means because accepting what it shows would require you to change. You keep hoping for a different signal because the current signal does not match the story you wanted. But maturity begins when you stop negotiating with reality. If someone repeatedly makes you feel uncertain, unseen, or emotionally unsafe, you do not need to become cruel. You need to become honest. Honest with yourself first. Not every silence is rejection. Repeated silence deserves observation. Not every delay means disinterest. But consistent distance deserves respect. Not every unanswered message is a wound. But if you keep bleeding from the same pattern, you must stop calling it confusion. A Stoic man does not rush to judge, but he also does not refuse to see. He gives space. He watches behavior. He listens less to promises and more to patterns. He does not beg for clarity from someone who benefits from keeping him uncertain. He does not turn affection into self-abandonment. He does not confuse patience with passivity. That is the deeper balance. You do not react like a child, but you also do not tolerate like a man with no standards. You wait calmly. You observe honestly. You decide quietly. Now let me give you the deeper conclusion. When she ignores you, the visible problem is the missing reply. But the invisible problem is the part of you that still believes attention is proof of value. That belief may not have started with her. It may have been growing inside you for years. Maybe you learned to feel worthy only when someone chose you. Maybe you learned to stay anxious because love once felt unpredictable. Maybe you learned to chase distance because calm affection felt unfamiliar. Maybe you learned to over-explain because you were afraid that silence meant abandonment. So when she does not reply, she is not only touching the present moment, she is touching old fear. That is why the reaction feels bigger than the situation. It is not just about her. It is about every part of you that still asks, am I enough if someone does not respond? This is why the work must go deeper than texting advice. You do not need a perfect line to send her. You need a stronger relationship with yourself. You need to stop making someone else's attention the mirror where you search for your identity. You need to become the kind of man who can care without collapsing, wait without shrinking, and walk away without hatred when reality demands it. The lesson is not to become cold. Coldness is often just wounded pride pretending to be strength. The lesson is to become centered. A centered man can feel desire without becoming desperate. He can feel fear without letting fear speak for him. He can miss someone without turning memory into a prison. He can receive silence without immediately turning it into a verdict. That is the kind of strength relationships cannot give you. They can reveal it. They can reveal it. They can test it. They can even inspire it. But they cannot build it for you. You build it in small moments. You build it when you do not send the message from panic. You build it when you write the fact instead of worshiping the fear. You build it when you return to your work, your body, your room, your plan, your future. You build it when you decide that your dignity will not rise and fall with a notification. So apply this today. For the next 24 hours, do not chase the empty screen. Do not investigate her silence like your life depends on it. Do not let your imagination become the author of your suffering. Pause. Separate fact from fear. Move your body. Complete one useful task. Then decide from calmness. If she returns with respect, meet her with respect. If she continues to create distance, let that distance teach you what words may never admit. Either way, your mission remains the same. Become a man who does not abandon himself just because someone else becomes unclear. Before you go, I want to ask you one simple question. When someone ignores you, what is hardest for you to control? Your thoughts, your emotions, or the urge to text again? Comment your answer below so everyone can learn from your perspective. And if this video helped you, please subscribe to support this channel. Your support gives me the motivation to keep creating deeper and more useful content for men who are ready to stop overthinking and rebuild themselves. Remember this. A silent phone is not the end of your strength. It is an invitation to prove that your strength